Earth's pathetic human defenders were the laughingstock of the galaxy, mocked by all for their futile attempts to beat back the mighty Nasat Empire's onslaught. As Earth's forces lost battle after battle, hope dwindled by the day. Extinction seemed inevitable. Ricky Hunter took another long swig of whiskey, slamming the empty glass down on the bar. The dark, musty dive was nearly empty. Flashing neon signs flickered, the only light. Ricky rubbed his bloodshot eyes. Sleep never came easy anymore. The faces of his dead squad haunted his dreams. 3 years ago, the Nasat ambushed them on Kepler 438b. Their vastly superior weapons cut through their armor like paper. Ricky was the only survivor, found half dead next to the burning wreckage of their dropship 2 days later. The failure ate away at him every day since. A tall figure in a black suit sat down next to Ricky. Even with bloodshot eyes, Ricky could tell this was no regular patron. The figure's upright posture, clean-cut features, and sober demeanor screamed government. Ricky Hunter, I'm Mr. Johnson, Office of Naval Intelligence, Section 3. My condolences about your team on Kepler 438b. They fought bravely. Ricky grunted. Fat lot of good that did them. Why are you here? Johnson slid a folder across the scratch bar top. I'll cut to the chase. The war is lost. Craxon gave Earth 7 days to surrender or be destroyed. Ricky flipped through the folder, pausing at a schematic labeled Machu Picchu Anomaly. An ancient alien portal. Ricky raised an eyebrow. Johnson nodded. 1.2 million years old. We think it leads to a cache of hyper-advanced tech that could turn the tide against the Nasat. Ricky laughed mirthlessly. If it even works, let me guess you want me to go through? After Kepler 438b, I swore I was done being cannon fodder. Johnson leaned forward, his eyes intense. Craxon knows about the portal. He's coming here personally to claim it for the Nasat. If he gets it first, humanity is finished. We need you, Ricky. You're the only one who's faced them and lived. I'm authorizing you to assemble a team, anyone you want, anything you need. Ricky stared at the folder, the faces of his fallen comrades flashing through his mind. This was a long shot, but if there was even a chance to make their deaths mean something... He met Johnson's gaze. I'm going to need guns, lots of guns. The steel doors of Ironhold Penitentiary screeched open. Ricky Hunter marched through, his boots stomping on the concrete. He was here for one man, Jack Boom Boom Bowen. Open on 12, a guard shouted. The cell door slid open with a clang. Ricky stepped inside. Jack Bowen sat on his bunk, a scruffy beard covering his face. He squinted at Ricky. Who the hell are you? Name's Ricky Hunter. I'm here to get you out. Bowen scoffed. And I'm the Queen of England. Get lost. Ricky tossed a folder onto the bunk. I'm assembling a team for a mission. End-of-the-world type shit. I need the best demo man alive. That's you. Bowen flipped through the folder, his eyebrows raising. You're crazy. I blew up a whole damn town. Why would anyone want me? Because if we fail, the Nasat will blow up a whole lot more than one town. Johnson's arranged a full pardon for you. Clean slate, and a chance to show the world what you can do. Bowen's eyes gleamed. He grinned, revealing a missing tooth. I'm in. On one condition, I get to bring my lucky rabbit's foot. Ricky nodded. Deal. Next stop was the desert. Ricky's jeep kicked up clouds of dust as he approached a beat-up RV, surrounded by towers of scrap metal and computer parts. A voice crackled over a loudspeaker. That's close enough. Ricky held up his hands. Javier Reyes, I'm Ricky Hunter. I'm here to talk. The RV door swung open. A wiry man with wild hair stepped out, a rifle in his hands. Talk fast. The Nasat are going to wipe us out. I'm putting together a team to stop them. I need the best hacker in the world. Jav snorted. I'm done with that life. I went into hiding for a reason. I know. You refused to help the Nasat hack our defense systems, but now's your chance to make it right, to make up for abandoning Earth when it needed you most. Jav hesitated, then lowered his rifle. Fine, I'm in, but Daisy comes with me. Daisy? Jav patted a large metal box affectionately. My supercomputer. Built her myself. Finally, Ricky burst into a university lecture hall. A man in a tweed jacket spun around, his eyes widening. "Ricky, what on earth are you doing here?" "Hello to you too, Marcus. I need your help." Marcus frowned. "I'm in the middle of a lecture." "This is more important." Ricky quickly explained the situation. Marcus shook his head. "I can't just leave my students. If we don't succeed, there won't be any students left to teach. The portal has ancient symbols, Marcus. We need you to decipher them. Guide us through whatever's on the other side." Marcus sighed, then started packing up his notes and artifacts. "All right, but you owe me for this." At the portal site, scientists swarmed around the shimmering gateway. Ricky's team suited up in high-tech gear. Ricky cleared his throat. "I won't lie to you, this mission is a Hail Mary. But if we don't try, humanity is doomed. The fate of our world rests on our shoulders. It's up to us now." With a deep breath, Ricky turned and stepped into the portal's swirling light. The swirling light of the portal enveloped Ricky and his team. Reality bent and distorted around them. Flashes of cosmic brilliance danced across their vision. There was a sudden jolt and the gut-wrenching sensation of falling. Then, as abruptly as it started, it stopped. They emerged onto an alien landscape, a world that defied description. Towering crystalline spires rose up around them, glittering in a spectrum of colors that Ricky had no name for. The structures seemed to pulse with an inner light, as if alive. The very ground beneath their feet thrummed with energy. "What the hell?" Bowen muttered, his eyes wide. Before anyone could respond, a deep, rumbling voice echoed through the air. "Welcome, Terrans, to the heart of the Ancients' power." Ricky spun around, his weapon raised. There, standing atop a floating platform of shimmering crystal, was Kraxon. The Nasat leader looked different here, his dark armor seeming to meld with the alien environment. "How did you get here before us?" Ricky demanded. Kraxon laughed, the sound reverberating unnaturally. "Foolish human. The Nasat have known of this place for years. We have worked tirelessly to unlock its secrets, and now, with your arrival, the final piece falls into place." He extended a clawed hand. "Join us, Ricky Hunter. Together we can harness the power of the Ancients. We can conquer the galaxy, reshape it in our image. Why fight for a doomed species when you can rule alongside the Nasat?" Ricky's grip tightened on his gun. "Go to hell." Kraxon's eyes narrowed. "So be it." Suddenly the crystalline structures around them began to glow brighter, humming with building energy. Marcus gasped. "The artifacts! They're reacting to this place!" He pulled out the ancient relics he'd brought, watching in awe as they pulsed in sync with the alien structures. I think they're keys to unlocking the true power here." Jav was already moving, his fingers flying across the interface of his portable supercomputer. "I'm trying to hack into the system, gain control, keep Scaly McScaleface busy while I work." Bowen hefted his gun, a feral grin on his face, with pleasure. He started setting charges around their position, creating a defensive perimeter. Kraxon watched their efforts with growing agitation. His forces were arrayed behind him, a legion of Nasat soldiers itching for battle. "You cannot hope to win. These powers are beyond your comprehension." Ricky stared him down. "Comprehending things was never my strong suit. I'm more of a shoot first, ask questions later kind of guy." Kraxon roared in fury. "Attack!" All hell broke loose. Nasat soldiers poured forward, their weapons spitting bolts of searing energy. Ricky's team met them head-on, using the strange properties of the crystalline landscape to their advantage. They took cover behind glowing pillars, using the structure's resonating energy to amplify their own weapons. Ricky fought his way towards Kraxon, determined to end this once and for all. Their battle was a dance of death, weaving deeper into the alien labyrinth. Kraxon was strong, far stronger than any foe Ricky had faced before. The Nasat leader gained the upper hand, his claws tearing into Ricky's armor. Just as Ricky thought it might be the end, a triumphant shout echoed across the battlefield. It was Marcus. He had arranged the artifacts in a specific pattern, and a hidden chamber had opened in response, revealing a cache of advanced alien weaponry unlike anything they'd ever seen. Jav let out a whoop of joy as he finally cracked the system. Got it! Interfacing with the weapons now. The tide of battle turned. Wielding the ancient weapons, Ricky's team cut through the Nasat forces like a hot knife through butter. The invaders fell back, retreating towards the portal. Craxon saw his soldiers fleeing. With a howl of rage, he disengaged from Ricky and made a desperate run for the gateway. Ricky gave chase, his heart pounding, his breath ragged. They reached the portal at the same time. Craxon lunged for the shimmering light. Ricky tackled him, grappling with the alien leader at the very threshold of the gateway. Suddenly, a series of explosions rocked the area. Bowen had detonated his charges. The portal collapsed in on itself, the shimmering light fading, replaced by dull, lifeless crystal. Craxon was trapped, cut off from his forces, his invasion thwarted. He lay beneath Ricky, beaten and broken. Ricky stood, his weapon trained on Craxon's head. The alien leader looked up at him, hatred burning in his eyes. "You may have won this battle, human," Craxon spat, "but the Nasat will never stop. We will not rest until your pathetic species is wiped from existence." Ricky's finger tightened on the trigger. He smiled grimly. "Then I guess we'd better get started." A single shot rang out. Craxon's body jerked, then went still. The scene fades to black. Back on Earth, the shimmering portal flared to life. Ricky and his team stumbled through, their armor scorched and battered, but their eyes alight with triumph. In their hands, they clutched the spoils of their victory, the advanced alien weaponry that had turned the tide against Craxon. A roar of cheers erupted from the assembled crowd as they emerged. Scientists, military personnel, and government officials swarmed forward, eager to get a glimpse of the alien technology. Mr. Johnson pushed his way to the front, his face a mixture of relief and excitement. "You did it," he breathed, clapping Ricky on the shoulder. "You crazy son of a bitch, you actually did it." Ricky managed a tired grin. "Told you I would." But even as the celebrations began, Ricky couldn't shake a nagging sense of unease. He glanced at the alien weapons, their surfaces pulsing with an eerie, almost hypnotic light. "We need to be careful with these," he warned Johnson. "The civilization that created them, they were leaps and bounds ahead of us. And the Nasat. This technology, in the wrong hands." Johnson waved off his concerns. "We'll be cautious, of course, but think of the potential. With these weapons, we can finally turn the tide against the Nasat, secure Earth's future." As the alien tech was whisked away to secure research facilities, Ricky couldn't help but feel they were opening Pandora's box. They had no idea of the true power they were dealing with. Weeks passed. Earth's brightest minds worked around the clock to reverse engineer the alien technology. Progress was swift, and soon prototypes of new advanced weapons systems were rolling off the production lines. But then, the reports started coming in. Soldiers equipped with the new tech displaying erratic behavior, enhanced strength and reflexes, but also heightened aggression, violent outbursts. Ricky and his team were called in to investigate. They found the affected soldiers restrained in a secure medical ward, ranting and raving, their eyes glowing with the same unsettling light as the alien weapons. "It's the tech," Jav confirmed, his face grim. "There's some kind of energy signature. It's almost like it's alive, and it's infecting anyone who uses it." Ricky's blood ran cold. The pieces fell into place. The ancient aliens' disappearance, their abandonment of such advanced technology. They couldn't control it, he realized. Their own creation turned against them. But it was too late. The corruption spread like wildfire, affecting more and more of those exposed to the alien tech. Chaos erupted across the globe as the enhanced individuals turned on each other and the unaffected. Governments toppled. Society crumbled. Ricky and his team fought to contain the outbreak, but they were outmatched. The alien-enhanced humans were too strong, too fast. They needed to cut this off at the source. Ricky led a desperate mission back through the portal, back to the alien world. But what they found there chilled them to the bone. In their absence, the crystalline structures had evolved, growing like a cancer across the landscape. The technology was not just alive but sentient, and it knew they were there. As they battled through the alien terrain, memories that were not his own flashed through Ricky's mind. He saw the ancient aliens at the height of their power, saw their hubris as they created the portal network and spread their influence across the stars. And he saw their fall, as their own creations rose up against them, fueled by an energy that twisted and corrupted all it touched. With grim resolve, Ricky knew what had to be done. The alien technology had to be destroyed at any cost. He ordered his team back to the portal. "Go," he urged them. "I'll finish this." Ignoring their protests, Ricky turned back to the pulsing heart of the alien structures. With the weapons they had forged from the very technology he now sought to destroy, he unleashed a maelstrom of destruction. The crystalline spires shattered and crumbled, the unearthly landscape collapsing in on itself. And at the center of it all, Ricky stood tall, a lone figure silhouetted against the cataclysm. From the mouth of the portal, his team watched in horror as a blinding light engulfed their leader. When it faded, Ricky was gone. Only the shattered remains of the alien world remained. Bowen stumbled out of the portal, his face ashen. He leaned heavily on Marcus, who looked equally shell-shocked. Jav followed close behind, clutching Daisy to his chest, his fingers white-knuckled. The portal shimmered and collapsed behind them, leaving only stillness in its wake. "He's gone," Bowen whispered hoarsely. "Ricky's gone." Marcus shook his head, his eyes glistening. "He sacrificed himself for all of us." A somber silence fell over the group as they made their way back to the command center. Mr. Johnson was waiting for them, his face lined with worry. "What happened?" he demanded. "Where's Ricky?" Jav stepped forward, his voice heavy. "Ricky didn't make it. He stayed behind to destroy the alien technology at its source." Johnson's face fell. He opened his mouth to speak, but was interrupted by a sudden commotion. Scientists were rushing around, shouting excitedly. "The portals!" one of them exclaimed. "They're surging with energy!" The team rushed to the nearest monitoring station. The screens showed a network of glowing lines, each representing a portal connection. They were pulsing with a brilliant, almost blinding light. "What's happening?" Marcus asked, his brow furrowed. "The destruction of the alien technology," a scientist explained breathlessly. "It's released a massive wave of cosmic energy. It's spreading through the portal network, affecting every connected world." Reports started flooding in from around the globe. Those who had been enhanced by the alien technology were experiencing strange symptoms. Their abilities were fading, but they spoke of a newfound clarity, a profound understanding of the universe. "It's like a veil has been lifted," one woman reported, her eyes shining. "I can see the interconnectedness of all things. The technology, it was blocking us from this truth." As the days passed, a remarkable transformation took hold of Earth. Old rivalries and conflicts seemed to melt away. Nations came together, united by a shared epiphany. It was as if humanity had collectively awakened from a long, troubled dream. But not all the news was good. The portal network allowed them to receive communications from other worlds, and the stories they heard were grim. "The Nasat have fallen into civil war," Jav reported, his face grim as he scanned the incoming data. "Without Kraxon and their advanced tech, they're tearing each other apart." Other worlds reported similar stories of chaos and collapse. The sudden loss of the alien technology had created power vacuums, sparking resource wars and violent upheavals. "We have to help them," Marcus insisted. "We can't just stand by and watch them suffer." Johnson nodded thoughtfully. "We'll send aid where we can, but we must tread carefully. Getting too involved in alien conflicts could put Earth at risk. It's a delicate balance." As Earth navigated this new galactic landscape, Marcus retreated into his research. He barely slept, poring over every scrap of data from the mission, trying to unravel the mystery of his brother's fate. Late one night, he burst into Johnson's office, his eyes wide. "I've found something," he announced breathlessly. "The cosmic energy, it didn't just destroy the technology, it changed the very nature of the portals." He laid out his theory, his hands shaking with excitement. Ricky wasn't killed, he ascended, he became part of the cosmic energy itself. Johnson leaned back in his chair, his expression skeptical. "Marcus, I know you want to believe." "I don't just believe," Marcus interrupted. "I know, and I'm going to prove it." The scene shifts. Marcus stands before a newly activated portal, his heart pounding. He takes a deep breath, steeling himself. "I'm coming, Ricky," he whispers. "I'm going to find you." He steps through the shimmering gateway, and the world dissolves into a kaleidoscope of light and color. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.